What up, guys? I'm back, here to talk about the Q5 today. It's PJ, and there's a lot of crap going on with this thing. There's some things that I fixed, and there's things that I still need to fix. So without further ado, here we go. Oh, my $500 Q5. Now, I am super proud of this thing, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of things wrong with it, but I can't complain about it because it's running, it's driving, it has insurance, and it's on the road every day. But it is, at the end of the day, a $500 Q5. Come over to the front. Let me show you this. So no matter what I do with the front bumper, it pops back out. By the time we get home today, it's going to be back out because it's got a boo-boo here. Now, the previous owner was a girl, but she really wasn't taking care of this car, and there was a lot of things going on with it. One of the things was this shunt that she has in the front, but I don't mind. I haven't replaced this grill yet, just like the S4, because both of those cars, I haven't made the decision on whether I'm going to do an RS grill or just a factory grill on them. The thing is this car is eventually getting lifted. Not only is it getting lifted, but it's also I'm also putting a light bar on it, and I'm doing fog lights in the front. And until I iron out exactly how I want those done, I haven't done anything because, again, it's just a cheap daily. Now, this is sad. This is sad. Headlights are good. Everything is functioning in the front. You got to see this. I have a 30 millimeter lift that's going to go on this. It's not on yet. I was limited to these 245, I believe they're 55s, because of clearance. And if you come down here and look, my knuckles here to the upper control arms, I only have about an inch of clearance. So until I figure that out, I'm going to have to just stay with this size tire. I would have loved to have a bigger tire. And then in order to get it to clear, I had to do 30 millimeter H&R spacers, front and rear. So this thing still does need work. But the shocks were good and the suspension is good in the car, so I might as well keep it. Now, this car has 146,000 miles on it, a lot of miles. And I think other than the front, it's in decent shape. Now, the car has definitely been hit before. That driver's side front fender, been replaced. That door definitely has been replaced. But all the body panels line up. The car has a branded title, but that was from Lemon Law, not from that shunt. All body panels line up in the rear. The power liftgate works and functions as designed. So all the other questions that I might have with the car's dubious history, I don't care. It's still great. And like all Audis that get older that have sunroofs, just like I said before, this one had a water leak too. When I got the car, everything under here was filled with water. The water was up to the top of the battery. I had to drain that as well. Also, the parking brake module was completely saturated. I haven't re-bolted this one down because I just got it working. This is a new parking brake module, well, new to me, purchased from eBay, and I had to rewire everything with a whole new connector just to get this working again. But since I haven't calibrated it yet, it's just sitting in there. It's fully functioning now, though. This is the old parking brake module. Yuck. Look at all the yuck and the corrosion. This was completely sitting underwater. I basically would go like this and just dump water out of this thing. So, again, this is kind of an Audi thing. If you have an Audi or Volkswagen with a sunroof, check your sunroof drains, because when they do clog, especially if you park under trees, this will happen to you. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. One thing that I might make a video on is I have to replace the sunshade. It does work now. Let's see. It does work, but I know it's going to fall apart soon. The sunshades were a real big problem on this generation car, and as you can, I don't know if you'll be able to catch it in video, it's starting to hang here and separate. So as it separates there one day, and it might just be today, let's check. One day, Customers usually put back their sunshade, and as soon as it gets back, it starts bunching up and falling apart. Let's see if it's gonna make it. Let's see if it's gonna make it. It's gonna make it. All right. So until that time, I already have a new sunshade at work. Until that time that I have time, you know, I'll actually install it. And I think I might make a video about that. It is pretty in depth to do the sunshade install on the car, but it's not hard. Just it can be a little bit finicky. Under the hood, the car is all stock. There's plenty of oil leaks going on with the car that I have to fix as they go. My upper cam cover is leaking, and it's coming down the side. It's not getting on the turbo. It's not quite that bad yet, but there's a problem with the piston rings on this car. So I have to make a decision, and I don't know what that decision is going to be. If I had money and I had my way, I would do a 4.2 swap, or I would do a 4-liter twin turbo swap. 034 Motorsports is working on one with an S4, and I would love to have a Q5 that's like that. I don't want to do a 3-liter supercharged like my S4 because I would just buy an SQ5 at that point. I would rather have something unique and different. Right now, the car has an integrated engineering stage 1 tune, and I do have a cat delete that if the government's not looking, I might end up putting on. But at least for right now, stage 1 tune. She consumes a little bit of oil because she needs piston rings, but not enough to make me upset. The interior has the same treatment as my S4. I have Apple CarPlay just like the other car, and I have the B&O sound system, so it sounds fantastic with the subwoofer and the spare tire well. I'm not really a fan of the seats or the wood trim. I will be changing those in the future, probably to black and sports seats, but for right now, it's comfortable. Okay, so now we're riding in who I call Baymax. Now my daughter named it Baymax because she said, Dad, it's fluffy and it's white. So I love driving the Q5. Not a whole lot of people build or do anything with these cars, and a lot of people, you know, they tend to think that the Q5 is more of a kind of a soccer mom SUV. I'm not somebody who likes to drive SUVs per se, or ever thought that I would ever consider purchasing an SUV. But I gotta say, after getting it falling into my lap, as I told you before, $500 is all I spent on this thing. So obviously with a little bit of extra work, you know, I've put another $1,000 into it or so, but I'm still well under the bar of what this car is worth, or what it would take for somebody to just drive a Q5, a running Q5 at that. When I got it for $500, couple flat tires, bad parking brake module, couldn't shift into gears. The shifting ended up being a linkage. I guess whoever the tow truck driver was that was going to pull the car. The original story of the car is the original owner, or not even the original owner, the owner of the vehicle was moving here from, I think she said, Iowa. Well, the car broke down in Kentucky. The brakes locked up, the parking brake module locked up on her. The car wouldn't start. There was a couple of other issues that they were having, and they put it on a tow truck and they towed it to their destination, which was South Florida. So the car came and met me. A friend of mine called, and there was some mutual friendships between the owner of the car and my friend, and he asked if I could take a look at the car. Well, one look at the car, I couldn't scan it. There was no communication with the gateway control module. But after I was said and done looking at the car with 1 hour diagnosis, I let the customer know, you know, to bring this thing back right was probably going to cost more than the car was worth for her. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I can do cheaper for her, but at the end of the day, it's still going to cost you more than you probably are willing to put into the car. At that point in time, she said, well, I'm just dumping the car. I don't even care anymore. Does anybody in the shop want it? I said, well, I'll ask around. But, you know, and I did. I asked all the usual suspects to buy old B8 cars And they all kind of turned it down, shunted away. They're like, well, what's wrong with it? It's got a sunroof. I said, yeah, it's got a sunroof and it's got water in the trunk as well. They didn't want it. So I offered her $500. I said, you know, that's about the only thing that I'm willing to pay for a car like this because I don't really have the time to put it back together. She said sold. Since then, I decided that I wanted to build a safari car out of it. You know, I watch Car Trek, Freddie Tavarish, Ed Bolian, Tyler Hoover. I watch those guys religiously. When they have a video that comes out, I get a notification on my phone. Immediately, it's the first thing I do after I kiss my kids and my girlfriend. I go right on my patio. I have a TV on my patio, and I turn them on. Whoever's in rotation, whether it's Vin Wiki, whether it's Hoovie's Garage, or whether it's Tavarish and his channel, or any of his channels, and also Matt Armstrong. So as soon as I see they have something up, I'm on watching. Now, I loved the Car Trek series. The Car Trek series really struck a chord with me because at the time they came out, there was a hole in my heart. Top Gear wasn't there anymore. And for them to come, these guys that I watch every day, great presenters, great group of guys, good chemistry together, put together a show on their own about cars, I'm in on something like that. So one of their series, they safaried some unreliable, not just German, but unreliable European SUVs and sport wagons. And they made some really badass builds up with these cars. I fell in love with them. So I decided that what I would do with the Q5, because it's very rare that I see a Q5 with any kind of aggressive work done to them. Usually people choose SQ5s and various cars like that. I decided I was going to do that to this Q5, and to me it came out really well. The Venom all-terrain tires, you might be able to hear them, you might not. They aren't terrible. I had some trouble balancing them at first, but I was able to get those down with a high-speed balance. I put an integrated engineering tune on it, so there is no governor, but you know, I usually keep this one within the legal limits. It's nice to be able to get out of the way, and the tune itself really does make it feel like the Q5 should have been. It's very, very stable. It still gets great gas mileage. I'm pushing 28 to 30 on this, which is refreshing considering in the S4 I'll be lucky with my heavy foot to get 20. I'm not getting a lot of noise from the roof racks. I did have a roof basket on here. I had to remove it. It was too much. The road noise over 70 miles an hour was horrendous. And then with the car having a panoramic sunroof, one of my favorite features and also one of the worst features of these cars, the panoramic sunroof tends to leak. So I've already replaced the sunroof drains to fix the water leak that was going on in the back of this car. It also had a water leak going on in the front where the fresh air intake plenum was leaking between its seal and the firewall, and anytime it would rain, it would fill the passenger front seat up. As I've said before many times in this video, I think Audis and water leaks, Volkswagens and Audis and water leaks go hand in hand. But this car is my daily. This car is what I'm usually in. Usually I'll drive this thing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll take the S4 Thursday and Friday, weather permitting. The S4 being low, and we have a lot of construction going on in the area, as you can probably see out of the window. I tend to not bring the S4 out here and try to keep it in its stable to the weekend time when I don't have to take this route going to work. I have done some light mudding in this just to see how, you know, my daughter and I have taken it out. We've done some light mudding. It's fantastic in the mud. The Quattro system in the car really does well with mud, loose soil, gravel, and even wet grass. It does very well, and it can surprise a lot of people that it is capable going off-road, or capable when the road turns to rule, as I would like to say. But as far as a race car, this isn't a race car. As far as something being fast, it's really not that fast. And it does still need pistons. It's consuming maybe, I want to say it's consuming maybe 1.5 quarts every 1,000 miles, which isn't terrible, but you could see it out the exhaust. If I give it the beans, it does have a little black soot that comes out the rear, and it's not because it's running rich either. It's definitely consuming a little bit of oil as it does it, and it kind of blackens up the bumper while it's at it too. But as far as being a competent daily driver, something that I can live with daily, it is that competent daily driver. And it's surprising how close it feels to the S4. Steering dynamics much the same. This is a 2011 as well. It also has hydraulic power steering. It still can handle like an Audi. It's not ponderous. It doesn't feel aloof. It's still tight. The suspension is still all stock right now, and it, you know, there is more body roll than the S4, obviously, but it's not anything that I would be scared of. It always inspires confidence when you're taking a turn. It doesn't feel like I'm driving a big heavy truck. It still feels like I'm driving a car. And that's important to me because, like I said, I was never an SUV guy. I'm never going to be an SUV guy. Something like this is just, hey, it was available. And it's a nice compromise to have something that's a little taller, something I can see over traffic with, something that the kids enjoy hopping into, and is not always trying to be race car, or not always trying to be about how good handling is, or how quick it can accelerate, or just a softer, more comfortable ride to deal with daily. And of course, like I said, the better gas mileage always helps. But anyways, those are my two cars. I really do appreciate it. I want to thank you guys for paying attention to me, and hopefully some more comes out of it. And obviously, hopefully I get better at this as I go, because right now I got a lot to learn about this vlogging while I'm driving. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys making it this far, and I appreciate you guys watching my content. I have a lot of projects, as you can see. A lot of stuff coming in the future on this one. A lot of stuff coming in the future on this one. Thank you for having patience with me. I'm still trying to put this together. I have a lot of people working with me now, but every day I'm daily driving my projects. And now you get to see a little bit into my life. Have a wonderful one, guys. Thanks. So this is me getting frustrated with video and trying to get all this done and being really frustrated with it. And I'm gonna get some B-roll footage. We're gonna go here and get something to eat. Hi. A little hangry. Who, am I hangry? We're all hangry. We're all a little hangry right now, but that's okay. Here, please. Here, please. Oh, yay! It's got a bar open. Yay! Consuming a little bit of oil. Why are you yawning? It is consuming. Why are you yawning? Is it that boring? Is it that up? Bro, I haven't eaten all day. I ran on a 13. I did a 13-mile ride. This is a lot of people. I tried to get McDonald's. I didn't have McDonald's, man. I had 2 chicken nuggets and 1 bite of a double cheeseburger. It was so horrible. It tasted rancid. Now, I know for a fact that McDonald's food doesn't go rancid. It just gets hard. But we're going with the grilled cheese brisket, bro. Grilled cheese brisket. He's going with it. And, honey, what are you drinking?
Did you guys order drinks already?
No, I didn't order a drink. I don't know what you're talking about. I told her you were going to order an alcoholic drink. You said you were left. You should get a beer. It's fun, dude. Yeah, this is fucking Jesus. Yeah, look at the fucking dead. I guess that's that. That.